was never once ceded or given up. This land was stolen. We are standing, living and working on stolen land. Its history is bloody and violent. Its history is sad and devastating. It is genocidal history. Remember this today especially, and remember it always. I stand before you as a proud Barada, Barna and Kababara woman from central Queensland. I'm a long way from my home and people. I'm also standing on land that isn't mine, and I too benefit from the colonisation and invasion that happened here as well. And it's important that we acknowledge that. As I stand before you today, I feel hurt and I feel pain. My heart is heavy. As black people, we are always living through pain. It's not something that we can ever escape. But today especially is a tough one for us. We come together to find comfort, to ease our sorrows and to affirm our place in this settler colonial state. We come together today like we always do to set the record straight, because there's no pride in genocide. What happened here is not something that we can get over. It's not something that, we can push to the back of our minds. We're constantly reliving genocide. We are living through genocide right now. Communities are being pushed out of their homelands. They're being forced to live in poverty, in poverty that is something that we don't acknowledge in Australia. We think that we're a first world country, that we treat our citizens right, yet there's people here living in third world conditions with no access to clean water, no access to Medicare services, no access to everything that we here in Melbourne may take for granted, and that's not okay. We can't just keep pushing things to the side anymore. We can't keep ignoring this. And everyone here, it's good that you're here, but I'm not going to congratulate you either for, being here. It's something that should be the standard. It's something that should be the bare minimum. On January 26th, I can never think lightly of the fact that I'm not able to speak my language or practice my culture because of invasion. My countries, I come from 3 tribes, and what is left of my languages and cultures is measly bits of scientific papers and anthropological research that as a normal, poor university student I'm not able to access because I'm not in those spaces to be able to reclaim my language and culture. I'm currently trying to reclaim what I can, but being an Indigenous person, it's hard to do that when you have so many barriers up against you. It's so hard to reclaim something that should be rightfully yours for something that was taken and denied to you for so long. We've been living through 200 plus years of anti-blackness, settler colonial racism, and that's not okay. That's not okay. We think that we're a country that is welcome and opening, and today is a day that we can affirm that the most. We can say that no, this is not the reality. We can't keep ignoring it. It's wrong. It is wrong. My family, for example, to bring it a bit personal, in hopes that some maybe white people might feel a bit of sympathy and might step up their game a little bit. My grandmother was forced to work on the cotton plantations in her day. She was a proud woman, she was a proud Aboriginal woman, but she was forced to work on the plantation. She was forced to work in the sun, and being in central Queensland, it's a very hot, it's a very humid environment. And we often think that, slavery didn't happen here. Slavery was absolutely a thing, especially in New South Wales and Queensland. Aboriginal people all over Australia were just used as, labour for white people. It's slavery, putting it plain and simple. But despite this, she was also one of the first women in Queensland to receive her nursing licence. So despite all that, we've experienced, and I think a lot of my strength that I get from my grandmother, because I'm so proud to be her granddaughter. I'm so proud to be here telling her stories, telling my people's stories, not on country, but I hope to get back there one day. And not too many generations back, and this is, exact same story for so many Aboriginal people. We hear of stories from our grandmas and grandpas of genocide, of, people experiencing massacres and just getting out with their lives. There were 2 kids from my long back family who had just escaped, but everyone else from their community, everyone else from their tribe didn't escape. And there's written documents about that. But we don't look at that. Shame. We don't look at the genocide. It's something that, it happened. No pride in genocide, absolutely. This is the reality of Invasion Day. And I know that for some white people here, for some non-Indigenous people of colour as well, that it might seem that we're hyping it up too much. It might seem that we're, being a bit too angry. But fuck that. Fuck being, nice. Fuck being someone who likes to like people. That's not what we're here for. We're expecting us to, nicely educate you and to sugarcoat, everything that you want to learn about, that you shouldn't be here. You should go and educate yourself. You should reevaluate what you're thinking about, reevaluate why you're here, and for the reasons that you want to learn. Because sugarcoating it, it's not going to cut the job. It's not going to do it. We are here to tell the true history of this continent. We are here to tell the true history of colonization and invasion. And if you can't handle the fact that we speak about genocide and we speak about, the brutal reality that is here, that is now, that has always been 200 plus years of white invasion and settlement, then why? What are you doing? Why? It is uncomfortable, and I can acknowledge that. It is violent, and it's awful, but it's a reality that we have to face. It's a reality that we have to accept. Not accept, I guess, but confront, because it's important. It's a part of our history, and if we don't confront our history, if we don't confront something that has happened, we are just ignoring it, and we're just repeating the same mistakes over and over again. Our ancestors really did this. We are mourning those who were massacred. We are mourning the women who were forced to give up their babies, to cease passing on language and culture, to be split up. When we were sent to the missions and reserves, we were told that we couldn't have any outside contact with our family. We were told that we had to give up our Aboriginality, forget that we ever existed on this continent for 60,000 plus years and had so many languages and cultures that today cease to exist. We have always been living under a patronizing patriarchal rule, and we need to acknowledge that. We mourn those forced onto reserves and missions, those forced into chattel slavery. We are mourning children stolen from their families, children who suffered abuse in those institutions and dormitories, children who today, as adults, they still can't reconcile what they've experienced. It's something that is ongoing for them, and that is intergenerational trauma. That's something that for 200 plus years we have been contending with. It's something that is always in the back of our minds, and when you tell us to get over it, it's not as simple as that. I have anxiety, and when people tell me, get over it, oh yeah, cool, my anxiety is cured because I stopped thinking about it. It doesn't work like that. It's something that we are always going through. We are reliving trauma. We are told that our indigeneity was something to be ashamed, and we are still told that, and that's not okay. We are beautiful, black, beautiful people. That's why we're here today. But we're also here to let down our faces. We're also here to let down that we matter, Black Lives Matter. We mourn the languages and cultures that cease to exist. We mourn the sacred sites lost, the stories lost. And we mourn our history. We mourn, I guess, what could have been, what was there, and something that we can never reclaim. But now is the time to reclaim that. Now is the time to step up and say that enough is enough. We've been saying it for a long time, but you've got to listen to us now, because we're not going to shut up. We're always going to be here.